what we're going to do now is go straight to the H card. You ready? That's number 4, the H card. This is your guide, okay? Now the client comes in, on the H card you notice that you put the date at the top, the comp model 13, which is what you've taken off the overview. The ACN number is your number with the company. That's a number that follows everything you pay, your checks, your money in the bank, any agreements, anything with the company, you'll have an ACN number. It's your number. It'll always be given to you. It's a 5-digit number everybody gets. The interview number, leave that blank. You can just keep that for your records and in the interviews 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep track of how many interviews you've done and how much experience you're getting. The candidate's name goes on the top line, the hiring batch number, that'll be batch 1, 2, 3, or 4. Every week there's a different batch. So week 1 of the month will be batch 1, week 2 will be batch 2, week 3 will be batch 3, week 4 is batch 4. It always works like you get 4 batches a month, it'll always be 1 to 4 batches. Okay? So you can put your batch there. That way, when you send everything back to us, we know what batch you've sent them. Okay? Now, the interviewer's name is your name. Okay, you put your name on that line right there as interviewer and the time. That's what you put on the H cards, and then you ask your 3 questions, and then you start doing your TKO live. Now, there's certain parts to this, the CV quality and these notations in the top of the H card. These are done last by you, okay? On some of the H cards, this information is at the bottom. You really want to go straight to asking questions, okay? And when the candidate comes in on the TKO live part, you ask, did you review the job description online, Joe? You did? Now, the candidate has come into you, and when they've come into you, the first thing they will do is hand you a CV, okay? You can't interview them without the CV. So the candidate hands you the CV, and what do you hand them? You hand them the I-form, which is this form. This is required by the government. We need to have this to indicate the person has an NIS number, that they're legal to work in the country, that they're going to opt into the regulations or opt out, and this gives us the legal permission to move their CV around and try to shop them around. Remember, we're an employment agency. So technically we have no business acting on this candidate's behalf unless he's given us permission. Yes, we have posted an ad on Reed. Yes, we allowed to download the CV because the candidate has put the CV there to be downloaded. But remember, we're not hiring for ourselves. If we were hiring him for us, we wouldn't need the I-form because we're taking the CV straight in and we're just interviewing him. But no, we're not doing that. What we are in fact doing is bringing him in for an interview and sending him somewhere else. You with me? So we need his permission to do that. To, in other words, move him to a third party or beyond, or third parties. So the candidate hands you a CV when he walks in. You take the CV and you hand him, you say, please, yeah, just do that for me. And you take the CV and you start reading it. And what I normally do with the CV is I take a highlight and I start. It's a little disrespectful to not acknowledge anything on the CV. You with me? So you can't just take the CV and put the H card on it and then just wait. It kind of doesn't respect it. Yeah. He's saying to you, this is me. This is me. It's my whole life. It's right here. It's obviously it must be of interest. It's me. I expect at least you to read it. Therefore, when he's filling out the I-form, you just go with the CV, and all you need to really do with the CV is look at his most recent, his highest level of education, generally, because it supersedes everything else. There's no use going back to high school if you've got university in front of you. And then his most recent job position, you know. And if that doesn't come up to about 2 years, I look at the next one below that. Not that I'm gonna make any decisions. Remember, these interviews, you're not making any decisions. You follow? But yes, you do want to pay some respect to the CV. So, while the candidate is filling out the I-form, I'll be flipping through the CV. You're allowed to make certain notations, not written notations that can be read, but certain marks can be put on the CV. In the process of looking at it, you can say, well, you worked at Primark. Well, he's been there 6 years. Okay. He has a SIA badge, no problem. He has a master's. And you do that sufficiently to get to the point where he's finished with this. Now you notice the I-form does not really require much. It's only going to take 30 seconds to complete. If you did it yourself, there's not even an address here. We're not even going to make him fill out a long address. First and last name, home phone number, work number, probably he's going to leave that blank. Mobile, if his mobile receives emails, he'll tell you yes. NIS number, immigration permission, yes. No criminal record, boom, no. Down, opt out, sign and date, done.
What does unspent mean?
It means he's on probation and he's not finished.
Oh.
Yeah, like he got 2 years, he did 2 months, and you sent him out in the streets. So he's got to report for the next 20 months or something. That's probation. If he served the sentence and he's done with it, it's done with it. But we don't hire anybody that goes to jail, so if he has any unspent or spent, he's not going to job there. As long as I wouldn't hire him, just going to take a chance with it. I mean, you know, I mean, you can put him in your agency and give him work if you want. That's your business. But, you know, if he punches somebody in the face, you know, don't blame anybody for that. You know, guys go to jail, they get tempers. Yeah, they don't go in there and just come out normal. That's not a place in all the studies we've done, it's not a place you can be normal. I mean, you go in there nice, yeah, you'd be a nice guy going in. But you're going to have to stand up. Somebody's going to take your food from you. They'll take that plate from you and say, man, that steak looks good. You're going to defend that steak. And so you develop a certain hostility when you're in there, you follow? You go in a Christian, you go in a lamb, and you're going to get, you know, you're not going to be normal because it challenges you daily, you follow me? And what you find is you basically want to try to give yourself the best chance of success. Anyway, I got nothing against prisoners, you know. I'm none guys who have a bad fight and go in there and do a couple of months. That's not the problem. The problem is you're putting people to work for clients and you have to disclose that. So if somebody's been in there, I would just tell them, look, I can't help you. You really can't. It's just a chance you can't take anyway. Why did they get on that topic? Those guys are great. They go to heaven probably before a lot of guys are not go in there, but anyway. So anyway, opting out, what I want to discuss, the opting in and opting out is of importance. When somebody opts into the regulations, it means you have to take NIS and pay from them. It means you have to provide liability insurance. So if they fall and break a leg, you know, that's big. If they opt out, and you have to pay them overtime. If they opt out of the regulations, you can work 60 hours at the regular pay, no insurance, no NIS, no pay. That's an ideal situation, especially for you, those of you who are going to be doing temporary placements. You try to get everybody to opt out. It's less money for you, less headache. You try to get all your employees to opt out of the regulations. No rate, they work as self-employed persons.
Oh, they work as self-employed.
Yeah, if they opt out, they're self-employed. They're on their own. They pay their own taxes, own NIS, own insurance. That's it. If they opt in. So you don't obviously have any beef with this in the interview process. You let them do whatever they want, but if they ask you a question, say, listen, if you opt in, I normally tell candidates, you don't have to make the decision at this point. You can do that later. But if they choose to opt out, a lot of them know what it means. They opt in, opt out, they just take it for you. Okay? All right. Okay, so now, they've finished the I-form, you finished looking at the CV, let's go to the rest of it. Joe, you did receive the job description online, yes? Okay, you think you can do the job, okay? Is this your most recent CV that you've just given me, okay? Did you know that this is the first of 2 interviews? You understand that? I'm not going to make any decisions today, right? That the second interview will be held in the next 4 days. Is that okay? That offers will be made within 72 hours of the second interview. You understand that? Do you still want me to proceed with your application? Okay, you get his permission to go to the competency set. Okay, do you have a valid SIA license? You ask that again, okay? Do you hold a full and clean driver's license? No? No problem. Have you worked in security for at least 5 years? Yes? Can you work 6 out of 7 days? Yeah? Can you work days, nights, or weekends? Okay, good. Okay. Joe, do you understand that the job calls for a lot of flexible work schedules? If you are not selected for this role, can we consider you for another role? Well, we can, okay. Would you like us to proceed with your application? Yeah, okay. Is this email on your CV valid for you? Okay, good, because that's where we'll send you the email, okay? Sometimes they give you a second email address, you know. I don't check that one but once a week. I check this other one, okay? Oh, by the way, what is the salary at your last job? Joe, what were you making? $9, $10 an hour? You put that down. Okay, the pie. All right, Joe, the pie is the second interview. You put the date of the pie right there. Okay, some of these H cards have calendars. Okay, now you notice to the right there's some dates, days, right? So today is Wednesday. So if you saw Joe on a Wednesday, the pie or the second interview will be Tuesday. You book it provisionally now. Okay, you don't tell him we'll call you to book it, you book it now. If you see him on a Thursday, you book for next Wednesday. If you see him on a Friday, you book for Thursday. You see him on Monday, you book for Friday. Tuesday for Monday. And you book him at the venues you see here. Berkeley, Palmalo, Hanover Square. They're your postcodes. So you alternate your bookings. So the first guy, if you've seen him, this first candidate, if you've seen on a Wednesday, you book for Tuesday, and you book for Berkeley. W1J6BD, okay? Now, the next one that comes into you, you also book for Tuesday, but you go to Palmalo.
Okay.
And the next one that comes to you, you also book for Tuesday. Now look, you're alternating the times too. You start at 1, the next one 2 o'clock, then 3, then 4, and you go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to 1, 2, 3, 4. You with me?
There's no clarity here.
Okay. So today is Wednesday, yeah? We're booking for Tuesday, right? Okay, we're booking for Tuesday, this is the 8th, because today is the 2nd. Okay? So on this pie date, we'll put, you know, 8, 5, 12. And the first appointment you book for 1 o'clock, you circle 1 and you put Berkeley. You follow? The next one you book for 2 o'clock, but you circle Palmalo. And the next one you circle 3 and you do Hanover Square. The fourth one you put 4 o'clock and you go back to Berkeley.
Okay.
And you go all over again. Now what happens is when you send them in to us, we just redo the entire thing. But at least they're booked. Okay? At least they're booked. Okay, so we may bring the booking forward a day or move hours, it doesn't matter. At least they put away time for it. We want them to put away time for it. Because we want the candidates to be committed. That's the H card, folks. Once
so these times ain't structured, they're not found.
These are provisional. We'll redo the entire thing when it comes into us. Now, what's left to be done here after the candidate has left, now you rate everything. CV quality on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you put that number there. Was he on time? If he was on time, it's a straight up 10. Okay? Dress code. Suit and tie, that's straight 10. Now you get some jeans, you know, that may be down to a 3 or 4. Communication, did the candidate communicate properly? Scale of 1 to 10, if he's clear, concise, to the point, that's straight 9 or 10 for you. Participation, did he participate? Did they get involved in the interview process? Asking questions of, not irrelevant questions, but good questions. Did they come prepared? Did they have their own CV? Some of them have extra CVs and questions with them. All their certificates, SIA badge, everything. Yeah, that's preparation. Facial presentation. Some of these candidates look bad. I seen a guy yesterday, he's got locks all the way down his back, you know, big thing on his head, you know, dude, I mean, come on. You're gonna be security guard where? How? I don't know, I interviewed him, but I don't know. I don't know if he gets past the second. Not when I got 200 or 300 people, and I got some sharp people. I don't know if you beat those people. I don't know what to say to him. You know, I didn't say anything to him. I did the interview like I blindly. You know, you do it blindly. You have to do a blind interview. You don't see, because when you see, you gotta be judgmental. It's showing your face, huh? So you look down. The whole interview, you know. Yeah. The man is what he is. Probably a nice guy. You know, I love to meet him, have some fun with him, but I don't know if he's gonna make that. You know, I just don't know. But anyway, facial like poison courtesy. Is he poised and relaxed? Candidates stressed out, sweating like they come. You know, some guys come in there sweating. Boy, you can't rate that. That's not poison. That's something. You know, you have an interview. You know, it's 10 o'clock. You got to be there on time and be poised. You put that down. You're allowed to make observations. Is there eye contact? Is he evasive? You know, you got to look at that. People look you in the eye. It means they're kind of telling the truth. You know, and then, of course, now we look at listening ability. Was he paying attention? Is he talking out of turn? You know, you rate those things. So you do that after he's left. That's a complete interview, folks. This comes to us with the CV and the I-form. In conclusion, your I-form, when the interview is done, your CV, I-form goes to the bottom, H-card on top, take your stapler, staple, that's what we pay you to give us. So, at the end of your interview process, we've done 14 interviews, you put 14 in an envelope and you send it to us in credit with your invoice on top for payment. We pay you when they come in. Sophia is going to check your invoice against it, make sure everything is there. She's going to stamp it with the date, because we pay you twice a month, the 1st and the 15th. But for you to be paid on the 1st of the month, your invoices have to be in the 21st of the previous month, and to be paid on the 15th of the month, you have to bring your invoice in by the 21st. So that date is of importance. So you get that to us, she stamps it, puts your invoice for payment, and we immediately call your candidates to book the second interview, the ones we want. If we do not want a candidate of yours, we will email them and say, I'm sorry, we can't consider you for this role, we'll attempt to consider you for another role. Okay? Any questions on?
So we put our 14 strongest forward.
No, you give us everything.
Everything?
Yes, you make no decisions. Remember, we give you 24 CVs, you call all of them, and you book as many as you can. Generally, it should be about 16 out of 24 should show up, 2/3. Should be booked. Out of those 16, you allow 2 people to go AWOL. 2 should not show up, no more. 1 should recancel, 1 should rebook, and 1 should have been a flake to begin with. So you've got 14 that should show up on time for you. So 14 should come to us in Croydon. All that you interview, you send to us. You don't hold anything back. Okay, that takes care of number 4.